Yeah, looking at you. Okay, welcome folks, 7 o'clock. Section 1, designate minute taker. Section 6, board minutes. 1, in the absence of the secretary treasurer, the board chair shall designate an individual to keep or cause to be kept minutes of all meetings of the board. I so choose, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Superintendent Bartlett, would you mind being the board minute taker for tonight's meeting?
Not at all.
Okay, let the records show that the superintendent has volunteered willfully of her own volition to be the record. Good, thank you, Angela. 2, call to order, 7 o'clock, 28th of January, 2025. Call this session to order. First in camera session, none. Number 4, treaty land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are signatories of Treaty 5 and that we reside in the traditional territory of the Nisichawayasi Cree Nation. The school district of Mystery Lake is located in the community of Thompson in the province of Manitoba. Manitoba is located on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Nihito Innu Cree, Denisulin Dene, Métis, Inuit, Asininu, Oji Cree, Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and Dakota Oyata Dakota nations. The school district of Mystery Lake remains committed to honoring treaties in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. We are all treaty people. Approval of the agenda. We have the agenda before us. Are those children in the age of majority? They old enough to be in this room? Okay, they have to sign a consent, a waiver. Welcome. I tease. I pretend I have a sense of humor. Approval of the agenda. Can I have someone move that we accept the agenda for tonight's meeting? Vice Chair? Are you waving, Vice Chair?
No.
Okay, motion.
The process and
Okay.
kind of got off track. So.
Yeah, I do get on track. I see kids, I get excited. Can I have someone second that we accept the agenda for tonight? Oh, sorry, Trustee Nicholsaw. All those in favor? Okay. Carried. Item number 6, adoption of the minutes. Can I have someone move that we accept the adoption of the minutes from last meeting? Trustee Young. Trustee Sharker, are you seconding? Any changes or anything that needs to be changed from the minutes? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, good. Thank you, everybody. Carried. Item number 7, delegations and presentations. 7.1, Westwood Grade 8 Experiences Canada Exchange. Sean Kennedy, Westwood Junior High teacher, and Tricia Griffin, Westwood School Principal, are seeking approval for grade 8 students and chaperones to participate in an Experiences Canada School Exchange with travel to Montreal, Quebec, April 20th through 27th, 2025, and a hosting of Montreal students May 18th through to the 25th, 2025 here in Thompson. We have before us a motion for approval is included under item 12.1 new business. So we have a presentation.
Okay.
Firstly, are any trustees or the chairperson included in the invitation to visit this aforesaid trip?
Definitely discuss that. We need chaperones and stuff.
Chaperones, there you go.
I do have a PowerPoint, but it's mostly just to keep me on track. And Maya, do you want to come up with me? Maya's a grade 8 student, so I'll invite her up. So she's one of our grade 8 students that we've talked a little bit about the trip. Basically, just to give you a little bit of background, coming out of COVID, I got an email about Experiences Canada. I think it was directed through, the school board office down to principals and then eventually to me. And I started throwing our name into it just to see what would happen. Strangely, no one really wanted to come to Thompson. And so we've actually, they refer to it as twinning. So they twin 2 groups together and both sides have to agree to it. So we've actually been twinned as Westwood School 4 times. And this is the first time that anyone has said, ooh, this sounds interesting. This led to me talking with the teacher who's from Montreal by phone probably 3 or 4 times. And I don't think I'm much of a salesperson, but every time I talk to him, he's like, this sounds like it would be a great experience for our kids. And he was asking me, what would we do in Thompson? What are we going to see? I said, oh, here's my ideas. Don't really have anything firmed up, but here's my ideas. And this happened very quickly. It basically happened the Friday after winter break. And by Wednesday, Thursday the next week, he was not committed, but he was like asking questions about what are we going to do, what are we going to see. And he said, do you have any questions for me about Montreal? And I'm like, no. If I get to go see Montreal, you show me whatever you want to show me, it'll be great.
Ease yourself.
So again, like I said, I started applying about 3 or 4 years ago. It's a week-long exchange. So one of the big things that has to take place is the parents on both sides have to get criminal record checks. They have to go through that whole process. Everybody associated that's an adult in a household has to have that criminal record check. So safety is their #1 priority. Both sides have to agree to the exchange. The school, like I said, is in Montreal. It's actually right by the international airport. It's actually in Dorval. And so it's really, really close to the airport there. So we started having these preliminary discussions, trying to figure it out. He kind of came back to me and said, here's kind of the dates that work for us. Do you think you can make it work? I'm sure I can pretty much make anything work. I'm pretty flexible. I'll bring this forward and we'll see what happens, is basically the process that we went through. A little bit about Experiences Canada. They actually are through Heritage Canada is where they get their funding. And so they actually fund us door to door. So all the expenses, the flights, if we they book everything for us. All we would have to do is supply them with our numbers, our chaperones. They book all the tickets. They arrange the flights. The one question I would have would be if we are flights from here to Winnipeg to start or whether we are a bus. And I don't know that until they come back and say, okay, here's your booking. So we don't touch that part of it. They basically take care of that. The part that we're responsible for is putting on whatever thing we want to show them up here. So whatever event or stuff we want to show them, whatever educational aspect about Thompson we want to share, we're responsible for that cost and that fundraising. So we did have a very brief parent meeting just to kind of gauge whether should we go forward to the board with this. Is there interest? Obviously, we're not going to be able to do it on our own as teachers. There's like smaller staff. This is going to be a lot of work, and our parents were very much in favor of pursuing this. Kind of with that, the cost for each student to travel is $250. They have a $250 registration fee, but that's really the only cost for their travel. Well, they would have, if they want to buy souvenirs, that sort of thing, like the daily costs of going. We, as our group, would have that hosting cost. Our parents would have to be willing to take in students. They would, if they're going out for dinner, would have to take the other student out for dinner and that sort of thing. That's sort of the nuts and bolts of it. We do realize, like, we're a short timeline. We know that we have lots of stuff we have to get in place, and that we would have paperwork that we have to do to satisfy all of you. And we would also have to satisfy Experiences Canada to make sure that everything's in order and that the trip is safe for the students and everything's looked at. So we know that there's work that has to be done, and we're willing to basically try to hit the ground running and put that work in. I am going to turn it over to Maya and let her kind of talk about what this means to her and some of her classmates. Are you ready for that?
So, hi, my name is Maya. I'm a grade 8 student at Westwood School. I'm originally from Cross Lake, but ever since I came to Thompson, I've had so much more opportunities, and given the chance to go to Montreal, I never could have imagined being able to go. And it'd be such a great opportunity to learn about their culture, their history, and for them to come here and learn about what it's like on Treaty 5 land, about all the cultures that we have and all the languages. And it would give us a lot of you'd be able to we'd be able to make connections with other students and be able to build relationships. And it would give some students a chance who might not be able to go, a chance to go, and they might be like once in a lifetime opportunity for them. And it would be a great way to end like the year after our school burnt down and just add a little like highlight. Thank you for listening and considering us.
So,
I like how you put me through in the school burning down. You almost had me at the end, and then the school burning down really sank the case.
part of the exchange, we would need to have a student ambassador, and Maya would very much be our student ambassador for that group, and her responsibility would to establish those connections with the Montreal school. And I think, as you can tell, she would be an excellent representative for us and would really speak from the heart to that group and really provide some good, valuable teaching to them.
Beautiful job. Very good.
And I just wanted to add to that too, like to me, the part of them coming to Thompson and us being able to share what we have to offer here and what Thompson is all about, and you know, the cultural experience for them, I think to me, being able to share that and having pride in our community and being able to share that is just as important as the experience the kids are going to have in Quebec.
Absolutely.
I think we're open to any sort of questions that you might have.
Absolutely. Do any of my colleagues have questions?
What exactly was the $250 going to be used for?
So the $250 is the school fee is a $250 membership fee that the school pays, and then it's basically a registration fee, and I believe it's just to verify ID, making sure that they show up for their ticket. To me, it was like a minimal cost, but it is a requirement of Experiences Canada. I don't know if I quite answered it.
To like pay them or to pay the school? That's
It would pay Experiences Canada basically to register for the trip.
Oh.
How many students are you?
We've been allotted 28, so we're allowed to take up to 28 students and 4 chaperones. We've been trying to figure out some of that process, and I think we've come up with how, if it came to it, how we would base that selection. I think it's going to be close to 25 to 28. Currently we have 36, I believe, in grade 8.
And we respect the fact that not all families are going to, you know, want to. Not every child is going to be comfortable leaving home, for example, for some children are comfortable running away from mom.
So I think it's a great idea. I know we've done a couple of exchanges. So the students who don't go will participate when the Montreal students come? Awesome. And so what great activities are you going to do here at Thompson and area with our Montreal visitors?
We haven't solidified anything, so I'm a little hesitant about sharing names of people that we've connected.
Actually, it's not names.
Yeah.
And it's, I noticed it's during the long weekend, so we know that the parks will be open.
We've bounced around some ideas in terms of going to Paint Lake as a possibility, doing a tour through town as a possibility. We do want to touch base with UCN. I know I'm dropping a name, but we want to touch base with UCN to try to see if we can get some of their pre-service teachers on board with helping us out, and doing basically a day of Indigenous teachings is what we're hoping for. We had some other ideas about possibly going to the mine and doing a valet tour if we can. We have some ideas like that. We're just trying, again, we don't want to get too far ahead, but we want to.
Yeah, we've been in touch with student services as well, and so, because we know they offer, curriculum services as well, we know they offer all kinds of different kinds of programming and stuff like that. We'd like to at least have 1 or 2 days that are focused on sort of land-based learning, Indigenous teachings, that kind of stuff, because we're so rich with that kind of information. And so those are that's definitely something that we're sort of in the process. I've hit UCN up already and stuff like that. So we've hit people up, but we also know that it's not a for sure thing. So we want to kind of hit the ground running as much as possible. The museum, our tour of the museum is another thing we've talked about. Hitting up the mall, because the mall here would be a very different experience than the mall. But that would be part of the Thompson tour. We also talked about doing some stuff around, the boreal forest kind of thing, like we could do a scavenger hunt or, some sort of learning experience out in the bush, that way. We've got lots of different ideas, it's just sort of waiting to figure it all out.
Awesome. I'm just glad to hear that. There's lots of fun things to do, because there are a lot of fun things to do in the north, and they're coming from a very city type, and they're coming to the north where there's a lot of bush, so have fun with that. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Seasonal kind of things that we have to be concerned about, and also watching for aurora borealis, but I'm not sure what they're like in May, to be honest, because I'm used to having them whenever, so.
It's unfortunate because there will still be ice. And it won't be good ice.
I know, it's like, come when the snow's rocking, it's the most beautiful time of year.
There's a good chance there'll be ice.
Last year we had our boats on the water.
May long weekend?
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah. It could happen.
Well, I'm excited, and I look forward to hearing all about it, and maybe I can come hang out with curriculum services and
Absolutely.
do stuff. So, yeah, awesome.
I do have just kind of a few logistical questions in reading through the agreement, like the participation agreement. I love that, like, the homes that the kids are going to be placed in are all going to have vulnerable sectors checks and criminal record checks. But the agreement indicates that those checks will be completed 6 months before travel. So with our kids heading out in April, I'm assuming that the time frame will line up and all these families will still have time to have all those vulnerable checks done.
That's definitely our hope. And that's honestly why we had that first meeting, is to basically tell the parents, we need you, like today, going into the RCMP station. We're dealing with a very tight timeline. I know I've expressed that concern to Experiences Canada to say, look, how much leeway are we going to have? And they basically said, as long as we have everything prior to the trip, we should be fine. And so we do have that concern, and that's one of the reasons we did have that meeting right away, as soon as we were twinned, knowing that that timeline is tight.
Yeah, those checks are taking a long time too.
They are,
Yeah,
yes.
somebody will.
That was my concern.
Yeah.
So if somebody
Take,
it comes
yeah.
back, right? Because it's
Yeah.
everybody in the household. Then are there some plan B housing plans for our students?
I know we had 12 families that took the volunteer form from Miss Griffin right away and said they were going within the next day. I've talked to a couple of teachers that said they would be very willing if it falls apart or we don't have enough volunteers, that they would be willing to do that and to take in a Montreal student.
So
So-
when they're being billed,
Are they billing it in twos or,
Our
We-
plan is to pair.
To
Our
pair.
plan is to pair.
so even at our end, like if we had 12, let's say, that got all of their all of their checks in
It
and
should
ready
be
to roll,
plenty.
yeah.
The Montreal group is looking at 18 to 20 students, somewhere in that sort of range. So they're slightly smaller than us, but they're looking at 18 to 20 is their group.
And teachers will,
Teachers?
That is my assumption.
Yeah, that's
I didn't
how,
re-
when I went, that's how it worked out.
I didn't really look into that too
Yeah.
closely. I was more concerned about
Yeah.
where the students were, but my assumption was, okay, I'm going to be with whoever their organizer is.
yeah. So I just, quick comment. Maya, 43 years ago, I went to Montreal, and I had a wonderful time. So I hope that you guys get to go. I hope you have a wonderful time. I think you did a wonderful job too, by the way.
Sorry, just one more
Nope, you're cut off.
question.
You already used up.
Just with the students leaving the province, like, do we purchase student medical insurance, or like, how are they insured and who's paying for that cost?
We have that insurance, we have an interprovincial insurance plan through the hub, so even like all of our staff, when they travel out of province, like even if they're going to PD someplace in another province, we cover that. Comes under our hub insurance.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Candidate, to this note. So I have a couple of concerns, like, can you provide us a brochure about this organization? Since they are incorporated, so if you have any news or anything about this organization, the brochure.
Oh, a brochure? I know they're online. I didn't bring a brochure, but I can forward their website, and they have a lot of information online. They do have a section on host parents and what to expect as a host parent, and we really thought we would print off each one of those and give to our families in terms of their hosting so that they understand kind of their responsibilities.
Another thing like this is the agreement is between the school and this organization. So this is their wish that they are going to make an agreement with the school, or do you think it's a better idea to make the agreement with the school board so that the next year or in future, if other schools wanted to participate in this program?
So if other schools wanted to participate?
So like this agreement means that the organization and the school, Westwood School.
Right.
So do you think this is a better idea to make the agreement with the school board for this, to make it bigger? Like if the next year, if another school wanted to participate, they don't need to make another agreement with this organization.
So I know one of the things that they highlight on the website is that they don't want repeat schools. So by twinning with a school, it wouldn't stop Riverside School or Deerwood School from coming back the next year and saying, oh, we have this group that would like to do the same thing. I don't know if it would limit us in the future. I quite honestly didn't think about listing it as a school board. To me, I listed it as a school because I think on the website itself it says school.
like it's a school to school.
Sure.
Exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says the estimated value of this trip is almost $60,000, that Heritage Canada.
Well, and
It
you
does.
think about how many schools are in Canada, right? Like, I mean, the chances of kind of being picked are very slim.
And the other thing is, you said you've applied in the past, and this was the first time that somebody's
Yeah.
expressed a real interest in coming to Thompson, so.
And I know that Montreal school is basically doing the same process tonight, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Is they're going through they're at the same stage.
Okay. Any other questions before we, Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Maya, for coming and presenting to us.
Good job.
Beautiful. Yeah. So we'll return to this as a motion for 12.1, okay, guys? Item number 8, business from previous board meeting, none. Item number 9, Superintendent of Human Resources and Policy Report.
I gotta find it. There we go. Taking notes.
Thank you.
So I've provided you with a written report, just a list of some of the meetings and some of the things I've been in attendance at, both community-based as well as district business. I did participate in some professional development via Zoom with Morgan Whiteway of MSBA, entitled Documentation and Progressive Discipline. I caution those of us who are dealing with matters of discipline that we need to do our homework with regards to knowing divisional policy, collective agreements, and decision-making matrices, meaning like who in fact does have the authority to discipline a staff member, and as well as the Labor Relations Act. He also stated that the underlying goal of the process is to ensure fairness and reasonability when addressing concerns. He then presented the group with a number of case studies where he had us analyze and look for considerations and mitigating factors that we need to be considering when you're looking at levels of disciplinary action. So, some human resources initiatives, the new teacher mentorship program. Participants are in the process of arranging with their school administrators release time to job shadow with a teacher of their choosing. We've allowed each new teacher who's wanting to participate in this to do this once a month until the end of the school year. I'm also trying to secure a dynamic presenter to facilitate some professional development on the topic of classroom management. When I did their interest inventory before we went into the program, that was one of the topics that they really wanted some professional development on. So Kathy, I may come to you folks from MTS to see if there's somebody that you guys know of that's and
Who are the kids most afraid of? Who was the most fear? Is that classroom management?
Yeah. Just it's been a long time since I've attended that type of professional development, so I don't know who. But MTS very often has a bank of people that are willing to do professional development. So. Participants are also continuing their book study entitled The New Teacher Mindset. They met yesterday. They're doing chapters 2 and 4, and this is facilitated by Zoe Bettis. So I really thank Zoe for all the work she's put into the book study thus far. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Hearing none. I have to say, when I was a new teacher, classroom management was probably one of my most stressful things too. Especially.
It's one of the things that's hard to train.
It's tough.
to be able to do.
Yeah. It's tough, especially when you have a big class and you don't know necessarily, if you're from out of town, you don't know who the kids' parents are, so you can't say, oh, I'm going to talk to your mom after school. You don't know them.
Well, and even during your practicums, you always have a cooperating teacher in the room with you.
Yeah.
So when you're there and you're on your own and you're in care and control, it's a skill and it takes a while to develop.
It's not,
and it's hard.
You have to learn it almost. You can't just sit in a seminar and teach it. Yeah. Item number 10, Superintendent of Educational Services Programming Report.
I submitted my report, just a few highlights. I attended the IAA provincial meeting. They are working on updating the Academic Achievement Award information. I attended the a Northern Superintendent's meeting just to touch base on a few things that are going on. I attended a trauma-informed MRLC, which I think that is something that we should be looking at as a district. Our teachers, I think, would appreciate having a more in-depth look at trauma-informed practices, especially in dealing with some of the situations that we've been dealing with over the last little while. Principals sat in on a session today, so I'm hoping that we're going to be able to bring up some training in September. Had our transition meeting last week. Well attended. It was really great to see our grade 8, grade 9 teachers there, as well as a number of administrators. So we just went over our year, had some conversation around the academic piece, looking at core competencies, report card writing, and grading. That conversation will continue. We've set our dates for the transition dance, which is June 26th. So that's the day before Artie Parker's grad. It's going to be at Artie Parker.
Oh, it's going to be at high school?
Yes, yeah. And Mervat's going to be a lead on that for us. So it's exciting. We've also set our dates for all of our transition camps. They will all happen at the Scouts camp at Liz Lake. So all our schools are signed up for that. The mental health and wellness coordinator has been quite busy. She has met with the counselors. She's also created a pamphlet that schools can share with their students and caregivers just around stranger danger. We're asking that teachers go through that with their students before they send it home with the students to their families. Zello is up and running for SDML students. I won't speak too much to that because I'm going to let Trustee Humby speak to that during her report. Week 2 of FAST has been completed at both Burntwood School and Wapanet Community School. Program has been quite busy. I know at Wapanet Community School we have 6 families that are attending. So our circle is very large. We probably had about 60 people at our last session. So we had a fabulous meal made by one of our parents. And I have to say it really does depend on a number of trained volunteers. Without all those volunteers, it's really hard to run the program. And those folks are giving up 9 weeks of their Thursdays to make sure that the program happens. And parents, families, caregivers are so thankful that the program is there for them. They look forward to coming back week to week. So
Do you find over the years your capacity grows more then with those? Or you have quite a bit of turnover?
We have the dedicated staff who will always continue, and we also have our UCN students who they're running children's time, and they certainly make a difference in programming for us. They're doing a great job with our students. Those kids are so engaged and happy, and it's really hard to get kids engaged that quickly where they're comfortable enough to dance. Like they were learning some new dances, and sometimes we get a little bit shy and we're not going to do that, but yeah, they've been super busy making some arts and crafts. Kids are happy to be able to take home some paintings. They did Northern Lights paintings last weekend. So yeah, lots of good stuff going on there. Curriculum services, we did submit 2 proposals for the CSBA National Indigenous Education Conference in July. They've been received. They'll be reviewed, I believe, at the beginning of February by MASBA. One is focusing in on literacy and numeracy, and then the other is focusing in on the importance of families and schools working together. So we'll see what happens there. Curriculum Services also hosted 2 Indigenous Perspective workshops last weekend. Yeah, Saturday, January 17th. We had 11 staff members who participated in traditional teaching and painting activity that was hosted by Mike Spence. And we had 9 staff members who attended the ribbon skirt making and teaching workshop. So that was hosted by Kelly Tate, I believe Shauna Huber. Were you there, Mervat? Were you at the ribbon skirt? No, she's usually there. So yeah, she's usually there. And they're well attended, and they take some time to create. Today I was able to go to the Cree. That was super exciting. Oh yeah, I got to see the grade 4 and the grade 5 Cree. Actually, you'll be able to watch it because Paul was there. It's amazing, those kids. They know. Did you learn some new Cree words today? No, so yeah, that was good, and it's very, very professional. You'll have to watch the video. It's Cree, everything's in yellow, and they have a little podium, and there's microphones, and there's judges, and it's well done. I think the kids and the students really enjoy that. And I just want to say thank you to Miss McCartney's class. She invited me in to her family literacy time, which was on Monday at 9 a.m. You know how fresh folks are on Monday morning at 9 a.m. It was awesome. It was so awesome to read.
Fresh or asleep?
It was awesome.
Oh, I'm still asleep at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning.
No, they were so super cute. We read 2 books and had really good conversations. So yeah, just wanted to thank Miss McCartney for inviting me in. It was fun. Yeah, that was my report.
Any questions for Superintendent? How did I not know that today was Creeby? I love going to Creeby.
It's on the
I couldn't have gone anyway. It was stupid.
Facebook page.
It's good. I support the Creeby. I like that Creeby. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Item number 11, Secretary Treasurer's report. How do we usually do this? Do we table it, or we have the Brian Trustee Young present on this? How do you feel,
I can
Chair of
give
the
the-
Finance Committee? You want to step up?
Yeah, I can give the basis of it. As of January 21st, 2025, we are 48.7% through the school year, and year-to-date expenditures are 43.9%, so we're running below expected expenditures of $22,034,012.
Item number 12, 12.1, Westwood Grade 8 Experiences Candidate Exchange. The recommendation before us, folks, is that we have that the Board of Trustees approve the Westwood Grade 8 student exchange trip to Montreal, Quebec in principle, scheduled for April and May 2025. Can I have someone move that we visit this recommendation? Vice Chair, seconded by Trustee Anderson. Open for discussion. What do you guys think?
I think it sounds like a pretty positive thing for the kids. I mean, obviously, a lot of parents nowadays aren't real comfortable with billeting, but that'll fall onto them if they're on board or not, right? So,
I think it'd be a great experience for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a really awesome experience.
Yeah, I do too. Like I said, I did it 43 years ago and I still remember, so you'll love it.
So my suggestion is to look at the agreement before this sign. Are there any hidden or anything cost or any safety concerns hidden in this agreement?
So,
no, like we have to look at this agreement before this sign.
I read it.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue is you're approving it in principle. If there's
We're
anything.
approving it in principle. Are you comfortable that we approve it in principle for tonight? Yeah, okay with that? Okay.
I think it would be nice if they gave us a little report back when they
Absolutely.
returned from
They-
Montreal.
they
and
usually-
let us know all about their trip.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Just one comment though is, again, what you had said earlier about the criminal checks.
Yes.
To be mindful that we have to do it, like,
Well, I
right
don't
away.
think there's any
Yeah.
doubt on that. Yeah.
It's just because there is a backlog and we're very aware of that in the north. It's really bad here,
Yeah.
so. But outside of that, I think it's pretty good.
well, not only their experience going forward, but also experience bringing those kids here to learn about our cultures and what the kids here deal with, so.
I mean, oh, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add to whoever said report back. I think it was you. I would like to hear it from the children's perspective, like not from the teachers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like from Maya, because she's the connector or whatever.
The ambassador.
Yeah.
Can I just make comment? I've been involved in 2 exchanges over the course of my travels. One was with Hugh John MacDonald School down in Winnipeg. We spent time there, and then the students came up here for a week. And I also was able to go to Onisivek, which is an exchange, to Montreal. Saint-Hyacinthe is where we were. And the kids were billeted with the parents, and we were billeted with other teachers. And both trips were great, going out and seeing what the areas had to offer. But I found that when the kids came to Thompson, they were truly amazed at the life that we live and how lucky we are to live in Thompson. Just the beauty, because they're coming from very highly populated, busy areas, and they just love the beauty of Thompson. We have a lot to offer. And I remember the group of kids when we were hosting Hugh John McDonald's school, and the kids were like, what are we going to do in Thompson? Like, there's nothing to do here. And then when they started brainstorming, they just were amazed at all the things that they were able to do. So yeah, I totally think it's a great idea for the kids to go.
It's an opportunity for us to showcase our community. I mean, it's always been my experience. We host something and people are kind of a little reluctant, and they get here and they just like, wow, like that we are the best hosts, and they cannot believe how well they're treated once they arrive here, and just how much fun they have. So I think that's a awesome thing to do.
Just because you guys have some experience with the program, so when the students from Montreal come here, are they in the classroom in the school, or they're doing activities for the 5 days or whatever it ends up being that they're here?
So with the kids from Hugh John, we were in class for 1 day just for them to experience, you know, a day in the life of a student. At this point, it would have been at Juniper School that we did this. But then most of the time we were out doing things. The kids went to Wabodin to the fish plant. They went to Paint Lake.
What time of year did they go?
They were here in beginning of June. Yeah, they did the Peachtree Falls. They did the Peachtree Falls actually when they came in, so we weren't with them as one of their stops. We did a games night at Artie Parker. We rented the gym, just different activities, and then we had a big potluck one night. But yeah, the time really flies when you're here. And curriculum services certainly would do something either at the day camp we have or maybe at Scouts Camp.
And I get that parents, I mean, it's not the norm now to be billeted. When I was young and traveled on sports teams, that's all we ever did was we were billeted. And I'll be frank with you, some of the people that I was billeted with, I'm still friends with till this day. Like going on ringette trips and being billeted at people's homes. There's one girl that I still stay in touch with, and I was probably billeted in her home when I was like 11. So I get together with her often and her parents. And so it is a really neat experience. It's like going anywhere and staying with people from a community. You see a community in a whole different light than you would, say, just being a tourist in some place, right?
Good. So, anything else to discuss before we put it to the vote? I remember we're just in principle, we're accepting it. All those in favor? Okay. Good. Carried. 12.2 Trustee Indemnity Bylaw 0325, second reading. Whereas Section 56(1) to 3 of the Public Schools Act provides that a school board may, by bylaw, pay an annual and additional indemnity to the chairperson and to each trustee and reimburses trustees, trustees-elect, or employees for expenses necessarily incurred while attending conventions or carrying out duties assigned or approved by the school board, and at such rates and under such conditions as the board may determine. 3 readings are required for a bylaw. The first reading of this bylaw was passed by board motion on January 14, 2025. We have before us the Finance Committee recommendation that the Trustee Indemnity Bylaw 0325 receive second reading. Can I have someone move that we accept such motion? Trustee Anderson, seconded by Trustee Young. Any new discussion around this recommendation before we put it to the vote? Did we? All those in favor? Okay, carried. (12.3) Trustee Indemnity Bylaw 0325, third reading. Whereas Section 56(1) to 3 of the Public Schools Act provides that a school board may, by bylaw, pay an annual and additional indemnity to the chairperson and to each trustee and reimburses trustees, trustees-elect, or employees for expenses necessarily incurred while attending conventions or carrying out duties assigned or approved by the school board, and at such rates and under such conditions as the board may determine. 3 readings are required for a bylaw. The first and second reading of this bylaw has been passed. The Finance Committee recommends before us that the Trustee Indemnity Bylaw 0325 receive third and final reading. Can I have someone move that we accept the recommendation for tonight. Trustee Humpy, seconded by Trustee Sharker. Any discussion, guys, on this third reading before we vote? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor? Okay. Seeing none opposed, carried. All right, 13 correspondence. 13.1, Region 4 Resolution, Pupil Transient Strategy. Mystery Lake's request for a resolution related to pupil transients has been prepared by the MSBA. The rationale and the draft resolution require the school district's approval as the original sponsor of this initiative. Approval of the submission or any amendments required need to be sent to the MSBA no later than February 14th for inclusion in the final provincial convention package. The recommendation before us is that the Pupil Transient Strategy Resolution S0125 and the supporting rationale received on January 17, 2025 from the MSBA be approved with the following amendments. So this is guys where we can talk about if we want to add any amendments. Can I have someone move that we visit this resolution tonight? Well, we'll move that we look at the resolution. We can decide together if we want to amendment or not. So Trustee Nicholsaw moves, Trustee Sharker seconds. So I guess the story around this is the last semester before Christmas, we met as a region, right? We met on the Zoom in the back seminar room. We came up with the resolution. At that point, I believe Josh Watts, the ED, was there. I believe some of his support staff were there. We were there with the region as well. Kelsey was there, Flin Flon was there. I believe the chair from the Frontier was there. So we came up with this resolution around pupil transients. Let's see, maybe I can read it out for the public, shall I? Here's the draft. The resolution is this, and I say this just for the camera. Be it resolved that the Manitoba School Boards Association lobby Manitoba Education to develop a pupil transients policy framework and strategy to work with all stakeholders to support transient students. And Lori, remind me if I'm wrong, the main purpose around this was to support students who come into the school district and then leave within the same school year. We have a large number of students who are moving around the province, and we don't necessarily always know, especially when they move to the communities, we don't have a record of who's going where and where they've come from. And a lot of students get lost, and we don't know if they're reporting to school or if they just disappear. And so we thought if the province can create a framework where students in the entire province, from the south to the north, where there's a record at the provincial level so that we can refer to it and find out what's going on with these students, where they're going to. It would partly, I think, it would meet the need of knowing the south to north divide if our students go south, but also the split in jurisdiction between the province and the local authorities, I think is a weakness, right?
And also that programming follow
Yeah.
the students.
The program follows the
Yeah.
students.
Because the transiency has a big indicator on their success.
Absolutely.
The kids, as they transfer around, sometimes, I mean, they lose quite a bit of content, and it's difficult for them to make up some of the gaps. So this way, a better way of tracking to put programming in place to help them up, help them stay.
Absolutely. So the resolution is very sound. So what the MSBA did after November when we met is they came together and they came up with this rationale, and it's been provided there for you folk. We don't need me to read it, do we?
No.
Vice Chair, we don't need me to read it? No. So going to the discussion, so what the MSBA did about a week ago is they sent this back to me as the chairperson to share with you folk to see if we wanted to if we were happy with the rationale or if we wanted to amend it somewhat. Now, I'm pretty good myself with the rationale. Has everybody had an opportunity to read it? It reads pretty well, I find. Does anybody feel the need that we need to amend it in any way? No? Okay. So you want to put to the vote that we accept it, and I will direct the MSBA that it's good? Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. What is actually going to happen to this resolution? Because this is now going to be the third, or possibly the fourth resolution that we've put forward, and no one seems to know where they go from here. Like, what happened to the other
They submitted to the province.
and then what?
Well, now it's in the province, the ball is in the
So
province.
this one's just being submitted to the province, and that's it? Like, that's where the line ends?
It would end up going to the Indigenous Excellence Department for them to review. So now that there's an attendance policy framework, and I think that with the north there's a lot of transiency, but we heard too from the south that there is quite a bit of transiency with kids moving back and forth. So the idea is for us to have this, put it forward, and then the province can yay or nay it. But I would think that they would probably want to have a hard look at this one.
It's like the last resolution we had put forward was the plea for clinicians. So I think there are probably somebody at the provincial level looking into some type of program to help increase clinicians, like speech and language, because that was the one that came out last year.
Absolutely, the
Yeah.
librarians.
Yeah, and a way to deliver that service.
Yeah, so they can use it to lobby. I mean, at the end of the day, we can bring issues to the government's attention, and they can respond to it or not. And then I guess the next year, the MSBA can ask again for an update. So when this get passed in March, when we meet as a convention, we'll pass this. And I think it's our right to come to the floor and say, well, we're passing this one, let's return to the two that were brought up last year, and can we have a report back on that? And the executive will probably report back to us in the new year, in the September. You know. We can ask the MSBA to follow up. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think it's a little frustrating for me to know that we're passing these things and then what happens to them. It's just like they're gone. They're off our agenda. No one cares about them anymore. Nothing happens. So what's the point of doing this at our level if nothing ever happens again?
So there's been no follow-up?
No.
So I guess it has to go back up, right? And you're right.
Mhm.
You just need to follow it up and
Follow it up.
and see what they say.
I definitely know, I mean, the one resolution.
With regards to the shortage of clinicians, it's got their attention, but they're just trying to troubleshoot. I mean, I think it's just something that everybody's struggling with.
Yes.
Yeah, especially the northern folks where you can't.
Should be reaching out to the districts to let them know, like, the process piece. You know, like Lindsay said, like, we're putting these motions forward and you're not hearing anything back. Are districts asking for an update? Where it should be up to the
Or
province to be
MSBA
providing
for
it.
that matter.
Well-
They're
Yeah.
bringing this forward, like then they bring this forward on our behalf, so the update should be going to them.
The MSBA, yeah, we can
And
ask the
we should be
MSBA for an
getting the
update, and the
update from
MSBA can
them.
ask the province for an update, yeah. That's exactly.
But they should be providing that. We shouldn't have to go after it. That's what I'm getting at. This is not something that's new. This is something that happens every year. Just in my opinion.
So knowing that, I agree. I mean, I'm just new here, but yeah, absolutely. It should be followed up.
So going back to the rationale, are we good with that, though? It's fine? So can I put it to the vote? All those in favor of accepting the rationale? Okay, good. I'll mention, you know, in conventions, in about 2 months from now, it's always good to ask for follow-up and ask them to report back. I think it's within our right. If we're spending this time to put together good resolutions, I think it's nice to have some feedback. And then, you know, us putting pressure on the leadership of MSBA, now they have to go to the government, and that provides a prod to the government to report back to the MSBA, right?
Well, and this letter is specifically drafted to Mystery Lake School Division.
Yeah,
It says that in the letter numerous times.
yeah,
So you'd think the update would come here specifically
to us, yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, it was us that put the language together for the resolution, yeah. It was a good, you know, it was a good resolution. Well, you were there, right? Yeah, it was a good meeting. Okay, good, thanks, guys. MSBA board ballots, 13.2. Manitoba School Boards Association requires the name of the individual and an identified alternate who will represent the district and cast the 4 sacred, the golden board ballots for the 2025 annual convention. Vice Chair, I think I have to pass this off to you because it has my name in it.
Yes.
All right. So
You were going to catch that, were you? Yeah. Vice Chair, you want to take this one?
Sure. Manitoba School Board Association requires the name of the individual and an identifying alternate who will represent the district and cast the 4 ballots at the 2025 annual convention. The recommendation is that Chairperson Warner Brown be the authorized board representative to receive and cast the 4 school district and Mystery Lake ballots. Do I have mover? Trustee Humby, seconder, Trustee Sharker. All in favor? All right, we passed. All right, it's you.
All right. The alternate, right. This is,
Yeah.
I can do this one.
Yep.
Manitoba School Boards Association requires the name of the individual and an identified alternate who will represent the district and cast the 4 board ballots in 2025 annual convention. This is if the chairperson gets shot or mugged or if he loses himself in the big city. The recommendation is that Trustee Sharker be the authorized alternate board representative to receive and cast the 4 school district and Mystery Lake ballots. Can I have someone move that we have the Trustee Sharker be the authorized? Trustee Young, seconded by Trustee Nichols-Saw. All those in favor? Okay, MD, you and me. $13.4, 2025 closed door session with Education Department. As part of the MSBA advocacy efforts, there will be a closed door session with the province that will have questions submitted from the school boards taking place during the March 2025 convention. I'm starting to see a theme here. Convention's coming up. Questions require submission to the MSBA no later than February 28th. That's 4 weeks from today. Okay, so we're gonna have to table this, folks, because we don't have any questions yet. We will table this for maybe, let's spend the next 2 weeks thinking of new questions of what we want to have submitted. This is, I guess this would be the minister, would it, Lori?
Yeah.
This would be the meeting with the minister.
Yeah. I believe it said it's not a guarantee, but in the past there has been.
Typically, I think the last one, Nello
And we
was
have
there.
a new minister
The
now, so I
deputy.
would imagine.
Yeah, and I think the deputy minister's there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so folks, let's table this and come up with some questions for the next, so we have
Next meeting's
the next
11th.
meeting, and then the next meeting.
You have to submit by the 28th.
So you have the 11th and the,
The 11th we meet, and then the 25th, so we actually have 2 meetings. We have
so do
the
you want to
28th.
table it to the 25th?
Well, let's table it for the 11th, and then have it recurring for the 25th, so we don't forget. I like to have a reminder on the 11th. Recurring, how do they say? We'll have it recurring? Yeah. So, and, you know, if we can come up with an idea or two of a question for the next meeting, and then we can finalize the last meeting.
So do we need to change the recommendation to
So let's have the.
table it?
Yes. So can I have someone move that we table this for the 25th? Trustee Nichols-Saw, seconded by Trustee Sharker. Anybody have a problem that we table it for now? Okay, we have 2 meetings. All those in favor? Okay, super, carried. 13.5, we have the Manitoba School Boards Association e-bulletin there for your perusal. Convention countdown, yeah, I see that. We have a message from the president. Yeah, I want to acknowledge here, you know, this is a good time maybe to acknowledge the passing of the minister, Nello Altamar. We know that he passed, about 2 weeks ago? And our condolences go with the family. And we thank the minister for his commitment and his work to education, to public education. I want to also acknowledge from the newsletter that February is Black History Month, and that's really important that we celebrate the importance of Black history and the great contributions that members of that Black Canadians have done for the Canadian, for our history. Good. Committee reports. 14.1 Policy Committee.
Committee met on January 2nd. We reviewed procedural bylaws section 11. The standing committees. We request Angel to consult with MSB to develop a mechanism for accepting. Like there is a situation that accepting committee nominations when someone is not present in the annual reorganizational meeting of the board. So there is nothing clear on our procedural bylaws. So we are requesting Angel to get an opinion out of the mechanism. We reviewed section 12, committee of the whole, no changes. Reviewed board policy 14, decision making matrix, no changes. We reviewed policy 12, annual planning cycle, no changes made. And another thing, we reviewed the organizational chart for the school district. Mr. Lake discussed the addition of the supervisor of transportation. And we, the committee, deferred the addition until such time as the position has been filled. We don't think this is necessary at this time because we could not find someone to fill this position. When we will find this, then we will make the change to the organizational chart. Thank you.
Thank you. 14.2 Education and Programming Committee.
The Education and Programming Committee met this evening at 5 o'clock. Just some points to highlight. We have reviewed some of the staffing requirements related to the educational services. Doug Lamontagne has started his career development position. So he is based out of R.D. Parker and he'll be working with us 4 days a week. We received an update on our off-campus programming. So there's currently 9 students attending, and there's definitely been some successes with the program. So that's exciting to see. Members of the Continuous Improvement Planning Team will be visiting Thompson on February 10th for some consultation, and we were able to discuss some of our divisional goals. We also discussed the French program at the high school, so just looking at the number of students enrolled and kind of discussing what that French program is looking like. We were also given a demonstration and an explanation of the Zello program that's being used with all grade 8 students currently. The program helps them with course selection for grade 9, and it also assists students with future career selection. It helps identify their learning styles and areas of interest. So it's pretty neat. It goes through like a variety of questions, and then it'll single out, it'll identify, you know, what percentage of, or the best way that that student would learn. It also helps identify interests. It gives them career suggestions that might be suitable to their you know, personalities or likes. So it's pretty interesting to kind of go through that and get to see that program. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, 14.4 Finance.
Oh, sorry. We have not met since our last meeting. Our next meeting will be February 25th.
Other committees?
Miss Public Relations.
Oh, Public Relations, sorry. Public Relations, who's that? That's not me. Oh, sorry.
During the month of January, we reviewed the budget. The PR committee donated a snack basket to Riverside School for the silent auction at the craft sale. The proceeds of the silent auction are to support the travel expense for the students to attend Festival de Voyageurs celebrations in Winnipeg. The school board office sold 40 district hoodies to various employees, and 10 additional ones were ordered for the school district to utilize for PR purposes. The superintendent will be consulting with school principals for ideas on how they would like to celebrate and acknowledge Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, which has been proclaimed by the province for February 9th to the 15th. That's it.
What did we do last year? Did we do lunches? We did lunches in school.
I think that was.
Is that how we're leaning?
There's a leadership team meeting tomorrow, so I'll talk to the principals tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be nice. Are there still hoodies left? Are they all gone?
There's
10.
10.
How about like with my size, my girth? Is it extra large?
I asked Charmaine, I'm not 100% sure.
Charmaine?
Yeah.
Okay. Charmaine?
I imagine they're not, we don't have any little petite ones, so I think for
That's
you,
okay. I'm not
we'll be all
petite.
right.
Our little. Okay, good. Other committees, AHEC not, bargaining not.
The only thing to say on that is that we did get an email to Secretary Treasurer Knott and Superintendent Bartlett from Chris Hippie, just asking when we could get together. So it's a matter of logistics of putting together with Secretary Treasurer away on a sick leave and Superintendent Bartlett having some personal time coming up. We just got to make time to get that together.
Okay. Okay. How about the Manitoba Games? Anything? No? Okay, am I forgetting anything? Don't think so. Okay, good. Trustee comments. We'll go this way this time. Trustee Sharker, you got a trustee comment?
Again, I'd like to express my deep condolences to the minister, past Mr. Nilo Altomayor, so for his family and immediate family members, this is my thought at this time.
I echo that too, and I also like to shout out for the opening of the band. Enjoyed it, went there, the music was awesome. Yeah, it was great. There was a couple people around the table that was there, so yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Just to echo Trustee Nicholsaw, yeah, the invite to the grand opening of the band room. I mean, it's band room, but I feel like band room doesn't really do it justice because it's like a wing or, you know, the band building. But it was really exciting to get to kind of go in and see the finished product. And yeah, got the treat of listening to the choir and some band performances. So thank you. Yeah.
I'm good today.
You good today?
Yeah.
Myself, so.
You too?
Yep.
Trustee Anderson, you got to make up for these two. What you got?
The senior girls basketball team was ranked 9th, and the boys were ranked 10th in the province. So keep up the great work, Trojans. Walking up was Queeby today. The senior boys volleyball team took home 3rd place in the Linden Christian Hoops for Hope tournament. And I would like to send a shout out to Norman Glass for the generous donation for the playground equipment at Riverside School. With that donation, they can do the finishing touches to the equipment. And where was I here? Riverside School had a hot dog sale today. Hopefully it was a huge success. It was to raise money for the grade 8 trip for Festival de Voyageur. Last week, Juniper School had a school-wide mental health day with crafts and activities for the entire school, which I thought was pretty cool. They posted pictures and showed everything that they did. And I cannot forget Quinn Graham, because she did this beautiful job on my hair. So thank you, Quinn Graham. I went to the cosmetology department at the high school and got my hair done. And February is I Love to Read month. So everyone crack out some books. And everyone participated in Rock Your Mocks last week, was super awesome. And I just love seeing the pictures of all the kids in their accents. So awesome job. That's it.
Sorry, just to echo your shoe thing. We need
Yeah,
to take
Paul
a
needs new shoes.
Donation for Paul for some new.
Sorry, Paul, but you really do.
What's wrong with his shoes? What do we do? What's going
You
on?
need new shoes.
Oh.
New slippers, yeah.
He's just
whatever, you just need a new
he's just a
pair.
poor student district. He's just a school district
someone to
worker.
fix them up
Yeah,
at least.
they're well loved. They're well loved.
Senior boys, they placed 3rd, and what was that again?
Linden Christian Hoops for Hope tournament.
Okay.
I think your
I
shoes
could,
look
I
great.
could just,
You could send me that? Okay, that would have cost me a lot less anxiety.
Should have led with that.
Yeah, should have started with that. That's okay.
She's like speed writing. Smoke is happening from the pen.
Chairperson report. I don't have too much to report. Yeah, I really enjoyed the band night. That was great. And of course, condolences again with the minister. I'm looking forward to convention. I think it's going to be great. Who's going for convention? Icky? Sticky?
So far, yeah.
You. Not you. Not you. Not
I'm on the fence.
you're on the go. Go.
He needs the votes.
Go. No, not so far.
Nobody's running against?
No, I think that he dropped out. Tim dropped
Oh, is
out.
that right?
Yeah, he withdrew that email.
MJ's your
So-
manager.
Oh, you didn't know either?
He's your PR manager.
Yeah. Am I the only one that got the email? Maybe so. I think that he would do. I don't think I have a contender right now.
Chairperson's email, yeah.
Well, not yet. I mean, someone at the convention, someone can be nominated.
So I'll
But
go back on the fence too then.
I'm not saying I need to vote. I do need the votes, but I don't know right now. I don't know if somebody's going to bring it on. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Hank is looking for a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to lose to someone else actually, but okay.
So
But-
MD, if you're gonna spend money on buttons, say, congratulations, Hank, I think you're probably,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
safe bet.
Yeah, just Hank. It's better than having no one. That's what I'm going to run for the next time we come for election. Paul, you put that down. It's better than no one. Okay. There you go. You got to have fun, right? Good. Questions from the public?
I do have one.
Yeah.
The policy committee report, trustee Parker, you mentioned about the competition supervision position. What did you, my question is, can you clarify what you said?
Oh, so this is like the recommendation was to organizational chart. Like, so this position is newly created. So this is not in the list of the organizational chart. Okay. So because we could not offer this position to someone, so we are not going to change the chart until we offer this position to someone, because we could not find someone to attend this position.
So from an audit perspective, when they're looking at auditing, they use our organizational chart when they're looking at salaries based to the 500, which would be administration. So because this is a supervisory role and it would be out of scope, I mean, there'd be a requirement for it to be on the organizational chart during the audit so that the position would indeed match up with one of the 500 codes from the frame. So, but right now, we don't have anybody presently hired for the position. We're still actively looking. I believe Superintendent Henderson's looked at the job description and done some
Tweaking.
Yes. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a 0.5 position that was advertised at present.
Thank you, that makes sense.
The hot dog sale was on our website, our Facebook page.
I got to get on this internet thing more.
Yeah.
What's going
He
on?
needs a personal invite.
I guess.
I
Do you know how
really.
many hot dogs were sold?
Do you need help, pardon me?
Do you know how many hot dogs were sold or no?
We sold around 170 hot dogs today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we did great was the fundraise that we did since we started. Now the kids are not gonna pay like maybe $50 to the trip, that's it.
That's good.
But we still have one more fundraising, then nobody's gonna end up, then maybe they're not gonna pay.
When is festival?
The week of the 18th to the 21st of February.
3 weeks. Okay, awesome.
But I can invite you when we have a big sale.
Even just send me an email. Just say, hey, Hank, if you have nothing to do today, which I don't typically. Oh, I'll make sure it's on. Make sure. Oh yeah. I save up. I save. UCN, I got to save up really long time for to buy stuff. Yeah. Okay, good. Can I have someone move that we move in camera? Vice Chair, seconded by Trustee Sharker. All those in favor? Okay. On camera. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.